Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And guys, the stock market was getting absolutely destroyed yesterday. Yes, guys, I'm talking minus 5% or so on the S&P, minus 4, I think, something along those lines. A crazy movement over on Apple stock and everything like that. You can see it here over on the top. It was going completely crazy from the 17th to the 18th, and people were not happy with that. But that is most likely also why Bitcoin went on its little downward spiral, and that of course took altcoins with it. To be honest though guys, I am still expecting this week to turn bullish over on the weekly for Bitcoin, as we've done a couple of times over in the past. But even if we do not, even if over the next couple of days it does not turn bullish, I would say that the way in which we're moving right now with the Bitcoin price, that it's a beautiful correction and a beautiful retest of this very important demand zone. Again, staying this long at 30,000, seeing whoever wants to buy, seeing whoever wants to sell at that price level is creating a lot of certainty for the next move upwards if we do manage to go up from here. Now, I've seen many economists and many theorists say that we're going to hit $3,000, $10,000, $5,000 first, and all I can say about that is, come at me, all right? Hit me with those prices so I can buy the freaking dirt, all right? So I can buy cheap. You guys gotta understand, whenever we're talking about where the price is going, this is the most likely scenario for, according to us, basically. I always recommend people to also zoom out a little bit. For example, look over on a monthly timeline, and you'll notice things really aren't bad. And people on Twitter and people on Instagram have been saying that crypto is over. Even a couple of very influential rappers have said they're completely done with it. But I honestly believe if you zoom out, things really are looking quite good. And that again is making me determined to, whenever the prices do go lower, like some of these guys expect, if again our short-term predictions don't hold up, I can at least buy myself some juicy bottoms because I'm not too afraid that crypto's not going to last, all right? I personally am not 1,000% sure all these altcoins which we're investing in will last, but a lot of my top altcoins like an Algorand, like an XRP, like an XDC, like a QNT, they will last, at least I'm pretty certain of that. And if one of them fails, sure, at least I got the other, let's say 19 or so to back myself up. Having said that, I am wondering, and put it in the comment section down below, are you still holding XRP? I've seen a lot of skepticism, a lot of criticism within the XRP community, mostly because it's been taking too long. But I've not really lost my faith or anything like that. I've just become a little bit tired of updating myself every single day with the lawsuit updates. Then again, it's not as if I've lost belief in that they'll win. I still honestly believe that there's some crooked part in all of this, as the SEC's allegations really don't make much sense. Take a look at what recently came out though. This was yesterday, about 18 hours ago. Motion from Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson to compel the SEC to provide responses that eliminate the need to prove facts about which there is no real dispute on XRP, a thread. The SEC document production so far has included at least 57 unique inquiries, submitting over a period of more than 29 months, asking the SEC whether it considered XRP a security. And SEC staff always responded it had not made such a determination, even as late as October of 2020. Ripple sought to confirm the undisputed fact that the SEC was asked multiple times by market participants and never stated XRP was a security to any of these inquiries, but the SEC refused, saying market participants is vague and ambiguous. Now, the SEC added it lacks sufficient information to answer that Ripple did request despite it being directly about communications that go to and from the SEC. The SEC was also caught in a double talk about XRP, first appeared on its watch list, first telling the court it was the 13th of April 2018, and then denying it later, then claiming prior statements were in error and refusing to clarify. Also, we see that Chris Larson made a presentation about XRP in October of 2013 to the SEC, US Treasury, Federal Reserve, FDIC, FinCEN, IRS, and FBI, and many other agencies. But the SEC refused to answer any request for info from defendants about that presentation. The SEC has also refused to even affirm it never issued a non-action letter on any digital asset before April of 2019 because the phrase relating or pertaining to a digital asset are vague and ambiguous. The motion lays bare to the judge how illogical and legally indefensible the SEC's evasions have become and reflects the confusion XP holders suffer in the face of no clear rules, no level playing field, and regulation by enforcement. All right, let's move on to the next part here. If you guys do not know, I found out recently that I have a pause button to actually make sure I can cut a little bit inside these recordings, but then sometimes the pause button just doesn't work. To move on, though, take a look at this. Regarding SEC v. Ripple, this is Eleanor Tourette. I think I'm pretty much up to speed now, and my biggest takeaways are, it's a little bit to read, but it's interesting. The whole commission, except for Clayton, was left off of these 68 drafts of the Hinman speech. Charles Gasparino and I reported that Clayton actually gave input on the speech before delivery. The Ethics Council, Minton and Serrano, who warned Hinman about his financial conflict of interest with matters regarding STB, I'm not sure exactly what STB is, was also left off the email distribution list. Tamara Brightwell was on the email list. At the time, Brightwell was Deputy Chief Counsel in the Division of Corporation Finance Office of Chief Counsel. And according to documents obtained by Empower US, Hinman deferred to her on screening for any conflicts of interest that might involve STB or any of his other past connections. I reached out to Brightwell to confirm she reviewed the speech. STB, as a member of the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, pays up to $15,000 a year to have access to exclusive content and contacts in the Ethereum ecosystem. As a member of a former and future firm with these ties, wouldn't Hinman's speech declaring Ethereum not a security, and subsequently the price of ETH soaring, qualify him as participating personally and substantially in a matter that would have a direct and predictable effect on Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett? Okay, the law firm. If Hinman didn't catch this, shouldn't someone at the SEC Ethics Department have? It will be interesting to see if the SEC responds to Empower US request for an investigation into the ethics officials, because, well, that's a little bit sketchy, to say the least. But guys, wouldn't it be nice if I could just end it off there? You say that's all the crazy stuff for today, but no, unfortunately not. Fred Rispoli here shared over on Twitter. The SEC is now Ben Stiller's character from Tropic Thunder. I mean, it literally argued the same thing as it did in the motion for reconsideration, but putting attorney-client privilege for DPP privilege. SEC is also now making XP committee arguments. Am I taking crazy pills? And again, Anders said here, the level of desperation must be a good thing for us, but also seems they will fight to the very end with no shame or dignity, because it makes no sense, yet they're still here. So let's take a look. This is part 2 of a specific letter. Director Hinman, so I guess section 2, I should say, of a specific motion. Director Hinman and SEC staff were necessarily acting in their official capacities when they drafted and commented on the speech. Okay, and we're going to only read the yellow parts. While the court has ruled the speech reflected Director Hinman's personal views, as opposed to official agency policy, it has never held that Director Hinman was only acting in his personal capacity. In the speech, he speaks as a government official, saying, for example, we stand prepared to provide more formal interpretive or no action guidance about the proper characterization of digital assets in a proposed use. In fact, that senior level corp fin attorney drafted the speech provides further proof that the speech was developed as part of Director Hinman's official duties. The SEC attorneys across many offices and divisions could not and did not use official time and resources to provide input on another employee's purely personal errand, and Director Hinman could not use agency employees to help him with personal tasks. Indeed, SEC employees cannot encourage, direct, coerce, or request a subordinate to use official time to perform activities other than those required in the performance of official duties or authorized in accordance with the law or regulation. SEC staff could use government time and resources to draft and review this speech only because Director Hinman was acting as an SEC official when developing the speech, even if the final speech only reflected his views. For purposes of, this is not yellow anymore, of the attorney-client privilege, there's no requirement that the communications relate to an official agency policy or decision. They need only be between client and counsel, confidential, and for the purpose of seeking legal advice. Yeah, all I can say about this one is the SEC is kind of funny with the way, they're kind of funky with the way in which they're doing these things. Then again, the more I kind of read into it, the more I'm thinking maybe this is all one big joke. Maybe they know, and they're just like, let's just mess with these guys a little bit. That's honestly what it's kind of become to here the last couple of weeks here. That's honestly what it's kind of become. It's just mind-boggling how crazy these parts of what the SEC is trying to throw up can be. Like, you cannot sit there and look me in the face and see just blatantly lie, or at least change the story again and again and again. It doesn't make sense. To come back on our earlier point, guys, in no way, shape, or form am I going to sell my crypto. There's a really big difference between selling to buy the dip, which I honestly recommend a lot of people to try out if they know what they're doing. I personally am not so good with actually finding the right best spot, so I'd like to just hold on to the majority of my crypto and sell some larger chunks, though, whenever I feel comfortable with that. But here's also, for example, MicroStrategy, whom said, there are no scenarios that I'm aware of in which you would actually sell Bitcoin, said the CFO. And a CryptoFit said, a software company has bought more than 129,000 Bitcoins and doesn't plan to sell any. You got to remember, right? You got to remember, it doesn't necessarily matter what they say, but it's the motivation that they give off. And that's what unnamed subject says. Words of mouth you hear, but heart you don't see. That means that it's in the border, you'll see. By the way, his address should be public to verify. All I want to say about that one is we don't necessarily know if they will never sell. Because I can think of some scenarios in which they definitely would. So this is definitely not feasible to just always hold accountable or anything like that. But that's the most important point here. It's about the idea, like, wow, I'm not really knowing exactly why I would sell my crypto. Like, why would I? Only if you want to cash out for massive profits. But at the end of the day, if you think crypto is the official new thing, right, then crypto, you don't necessarily see it as holding a stock, but you see it as holding fiat, basically. So selling it would be like selling the dollars that you have in your bank account for something else that's basically worth less. Not worthless, but worth space less. Where I'm thinking, well, why would I, right? So why exactly would I sell crypto? It's just about stacking as many different coins, or I would say as many coins as I possibly can throughout the next couple of years, I guess, before it becomes too expensive to do so. But then I guess even as we go on further, I guess I'll just have to keep accumulating more and more Bitcoin, more and more coins and whatnot. Yeah, that's, I guess, the story of my life about what I'm doing here, huh? Just buying more crypto, buying more crypto, buying more crypto, and most likely buying more even. Alright guys, that was it for right now. I have a couple other pieces, but I'll make sure I explain that in a different video. I want to keep this one mostly about the lawsuit and a little bit about Bitcoin. And then later today, we'll talk about some other cool stuff that I think you guys must hear. Like all the general crypto news that basically happened throughout the last 24 hours or so. So if you guys are excited for that, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these crypto videos. Adios amigos.